Come to Helmuth Ford, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Hi, this is Stacy from Shuttler Insurance Services. Come see me on the east side of the square in Sigourney for all your insurance needs.
Welcome in. It's time for another Tuesday night tune-up. We are live from the Oskaloosa Pizza Ranch at the Penn Central Mall in Oskaloosa. We've got a fun show lined up for you here on Steve Shuttler Media, Facebook, and YouTube. Maybe you're listening to this in podcast form, wherever you get your major podcasts. So, check us out on Spotify, Apple, and again, wherever you get your podcasts. We start off once again this week. Well, looky, actually, we've got a full screen. Mr. Curtis Vanderwall is hanging out with us this Tuesday, and we've got Marla from the Oskaloosa Pizza Ranch in with us for the opening segment. Safe, I'll let you take it away.
Welcome back, race fans, to TNT, the Tuesday Night Tune-Up. I am your host, Safe Grafke. With me this week, we have our co-host and honoree, Curtis Vanderwall here. Yes. And we have our friend Marla over here from the Oskaloosa Pizza Ranch here. Hello. Talking to us again tonight about some exciting specials that are coming up here as they give a thank you to the teachers. So, Marla, why don't you go ahead and talk to us about everything going on at Pizza Ranch in Oskaloosa next week for the teachers?
Well, we have deals, tons of good deals. One of the ones that we're going to focus on the most is you can get 2 large for 10, and that is for the teachers. That helps them with their classes, whatever fun things that they want to do for that, even family night for themselves. It's a good deal. They just need to call in and schedule whatever they need, and we can make it work. We'll figure it out.
Awesome. That's great. And everything you guys do here, again, going back to last week when we talked, the Cactus for a Cause and, doing the sponsored nights to help other programs. And it's just nice to see that the Oskaloosa Pizza Ranch is wanting to step up and really put their best foot forward with this community.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think that's so huge, when local businesses can use that promotion, and it really ties back into the community, and then the community can feed off of that and build off of that. It's really cool what you guys are doing.
Building to grow.
Yeah, exactly.
Building to
Absolutely.
grow.
And just, my wife's a teacher, so seeing what teachers go through, it's nice to see a community that wants to give back to people that, I think teachers are definitely sometimes underappreciated.
Absolutely,
So,
I agree with you too.
Yeah, it's really nice to see that we have these businesses here that want to help them and show their support for our teachers, which are the backbone of young minds.
Yeah, in a lot of cases, the unsung heroes of our youth. Let's just be honest. It's a great thing, and I think it's cool that you guys are allowing their families to benefit from it as well. So it's not just the teachers, it's their families, because I think Safe can attest to this. When one of your loved ones is a teacher, everyone in the family is pretty well involved with it.
Yes, and not just that, like you're never home because you're always at school doing things and sacrificing that. So This is what that's about. Just giving
really
back
cool.
to them.
Really, really cool.
Yeah, really nice. And again, tonight is Kids Night here at the Oskaloosa Pizza Ranch, and every Tuesday night is
Every
Kids
Tuesday
night,
yep, and we've got some good things lined up for the kids. We're going to start posting those, get some creative, activities going on to keep them busy. So,
Is it best for people to find that out on the Facebook page?
yes, we will be posting it to Facebook, yep.
And you guys post a lot of your deals
specials,
and specials on there, correct?
Yep, and you'll even see me do a quick video. It may take me 40 cuts to get there, but we get there.
That's kind of how Curtis and I are, too, when we get in front of a camera.
We would benefit from several takes. Yes,
Right?
very much.
Yeah.
No, well, Marla, again, thank you for
You're very
everything
welcome.
that you are doing and the Oskaloosa Pizza Ranch is doing. And thank you again for being the host of this, and thank you for supporting our teachers.
Thank you for choosing us. Thank you very much.
You bet. Thank you.
Have a
Thank
good night.
Alrighty, folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break here, and we will be back with Gordy from the PCRC Speedway here in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
When you need a break, Pizza Ranch is ready. Rough day or good day, sometimes you just need a buffet. And we've got all your favorites always ready to serve. Come to the place that puts a smile on your face. Make it a buffet day at Pizza Ranch.
Sigourney Motors is a great place for quality used cars and trucks, and most vehicles are priced under $10,000. Right now featuring a 2019 Dodge Grand Caravan SXT. It's a great family vehicle priced at only $79.95. And also a 2010 Chevy Equinox LT. Runs and drives great, priced at just $74.95. Sigourney Motors also offers oil changes and maintenance repairs and more. Stop in and see CJ at 705 East Jackson in Sigourney. Call 641-224-8056 or email SigourneyMotors@gmail.com.
At Nutrien Ag Solutions, we are dedicated to your success. We partner with growers like you to expand your possibilities with unparalleled offerings. Your unique challenges are met with more customized solutions than anyone else can offer. With you, we're feeding the future together.
If you've had a run-in with a deer, a fender bender, or any sort of accident with your vehicle, take it to Tony and the guys at Sigourney Body Shop at 210 West Clark Street in Sigourney. They'll get you back on the road in no time, and Tony will help you out with a free estimate. It's service with a smile at Sigourney Body Shop. Give them a call at 641-622-2022, or again, stop in at 210 West Clark Street in Sigourney. Hey, we are back live here at the Oskaloosa Pizza Ranch, and that is our new host venue for the Tuesday night tune-up every Tuesday. We're going to be doing this through October with different guests every week here on Steve Shetler Media. We thank, of course, our host venue, Oskaloosa Pizza Ranch, also Sigourney Motors, Nutrien Ag Solutions, Sigourney Body Shop, Julie's Homestyle Cafe, Copeland Auto Body, Sinclair Napa, James Family Greenhouse. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody in there, but we go back live. We've got our host and co-hosts, Safe Grafke and Curtis Vanderwall, along with our special guest for tonight. Safe, take it away.
Welcome back, race fans, to TNT, the Tuesday Night Tune-Up. It is time for our interview segment of tonight, and with us from the PCRC Speedway, none other than Gordy Grubb. Gordy, thanks for coming here tonight.
The legendary.
The legendary. We did
That's
forget
exactly
the legendary.
Right.
Yes,
right.
sir.
Categorize that right.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We're glad to be here.
Yeah, Gordy. So, we had an awesome opportunity over the winter here to interview you and talk about the PCRC Speedway here in the mall. And I know you have some exciting news that you have a new track at another location for you guys to race at. Why don't you maybe tell everyone what's going on there?
Yeah, we got a second location now. It's a little smaller track than what we run here at up here in the mall. It's right out east of town here, about a mile outside of town. With that, we still plan to race up here in the mall. We're going to do about 8 events coming up this next winter, but they're going out to the barn out here is what we will call it. The short track, it just gives us an opportunity to race more and then kind of maybe race at night, because in the mall we're strictly to where we kind of got to run in the afternoon, so now we can maybe go with some evening crowd and kind of hit both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. I've been up to a number of races, and obviously my brother likes to compete in it and does a good job. And they're just a really cool car. So adding that ability to kind of have a little bit different, not only venue, but then kind of a little bit later in the day, might make it easier on some guys. So that's really cool. I'm excited for it. Gordy, tell us a little bit about the different classes that you have and the approximate size. Obviously, we've got the model, or the one of the units of the pavement late model here on the table with us. Walk us through what all you guys do there and what the different options are.
Yeah, so for our classes, we got anything that'll fit anybody from 6 to 70. So we have this one here is an asphalt late model. There's also a dirt late model. There's a sprint car. There's a stock car. So about every different venue of racing, 1RC makes a kit to do them. So what we have is, we have
the truck.
In a truck. Yeah, we got a lot of
yeah.
trucks. And then, so what we have is, we have different class structures. So like We have novice and we have young kids. We have sportsmen to where you can bring any one of these 1RCs and race them against one another. The main classes are box stock dirt late model, which is strictly out of the box. We do enough tech onto them to keep them simple, to keep them straight out of the box and racing. But then you can also add what we call like a LiPo battery into them. It gives them about another 1.4 volts over the battery that comes with them. Gives them just a little bit more speed. And some of the classes are open to where you can do more tuning and options like that. So we got a class that can fit anybody from just day one starting out to a 20-year veteran in the RC world.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but these come as a complete ready-to-race option. You really need to put batteries in the radio, charge up the battery for the cars, and you could literally hit the track in a short amount of time.
Yep.
And that's the same for every class.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. I mean, the only thing that you really have to add to the car is a lap counter, so we can score the cars while we're racing, and that's about an additional $35.
So what does a typical kit like this cost? Give me the range.
So the box stock, out of the way that it is, it comes with one battery, it comes with a wall charger, remote, everything to race is right around $220.
Man, I tell you what, that's
cheap entertainment.
that is unbelievably affordable, and you have guys. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you have guys that just take that and that's what they race with, and they're very competitive. Now, there are other people that maybe do some adjustments or move into those higher classes that can, the other batteries and stuff and different chargers could cost you more money, but don't really. The battery provides an advantage. That's why it's in a different class, but the other things don't really provide an advantage, right?
Oh, correct. I mean, actually, your brother come up. We bought a kit through 1RC, put some decals onto it, painted the body, brought it up to him. He went out and won the truck feature with it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, just strictly out of the box, and we were all looking at one another. We try to fine tune and make sure all the shocks are the same height and everything else. And he threw it down and went out and spanked everybody. So it's like, man, what are we spending time trying to kind of blueprint these cars?
Yeah.
Well, I think the nice thing is with the new track layout at the barn is it's a little bit wider and it's shorter, so it's more forgiving. So if you are someone wanting to get into it, it's a very good track to learn at. The mall track is a little more technical, and you have a lot of very skilled drivers that come there, which is great because it is a bigger track and is a little more narrow. This one's a lot wider and it is shorter, so it's a good starting track. So if you're interested in getting into the RC car racing, it's definitely a good starting track to come to and watch and maybe try one out and see what you think. But I think the wideness and then kind of how we redid part of the infield and stuff to make that a little more forgiving as well, if I'm not mistaken, just trying to help get more beginners in the door.
Yeah.
It's so affordable.
Yeah, and let's face it, the last thing you want to do is have a situation where somebody's new and because of their inexperience, they tear something up and they're having to buy a bunch of replacement parts and this, that, and the other. In this case, these things are pretty darn durable from what I've seen.
Yeah, I was truly amazed. I remember, the first time I seen one of these cars a couple years ago, I thought, man, there's no way these little parts are going to hold up to what it does. And honestly, I mean, other than somebody popping off a shock cap or something like that, I mean, it just simple pop it back together and you're going again. I mean, they're so durable. I mean, they knocked it out of the park when they designed these cars, and the materials they have today makes them durable. I mean, the bodies help, but even our sprint car classes, they are open wheel, and we don't see really any issues with them either. So
yeah, so basically, somebody that wants to get involved with this, they need to pick which style car or cars they want, and then they go from there.
Correct.
It's literally that simple.
That's simple.
Do the bodies come pre-painted, or can they? Or am I misunderstanding that?
Most of them have three options, which is red, then we have a black, and then they have a clear to paint your own. Some of the stock car bodies, they only come in clear just due to the way that they mold them. So, but yeah, like this one here, it's already painted. I mean, 1RC has a great decal kit. You can just slap the decals onto it and go racing. So simple, and it looks just like a NASCAR or a dirt late model or anything out there. We also have down at SG Graphics, they have the templates to make wraps. So if you want to go to a wrap, you can go down there and talk to them guys, have them create your own wrap, put it on there. So yeah, I mean, we kind of went the whole 9 yards to try to get everybody in the area a place
And they're
to go.
affordable. The wraps are. They're not overly
That's good.
expensive. So if you do buy one and you decide I want it to look like Kyle Larson or a Tony Stewart car or something, you can go down to Schroeder's and they can do it very affordably for
that's
you.
great. That's great. What's the best way for people to get more information about this? Obviously, come out to one of the events, but is the Facebook page the best?
Yeah, I mean, you'll see what's kind of happening with our rules and our races. I mean, if you want more car information, 1RCRacing.com, they have a great website. They also have some video links in there that kind of show what the cars are and what you can do to tune them, some other things like that. But really, if they're interested, I would say, stop, see our page, stop out at the barn, walk through the pits. Everybody in the pits would be more than happy to talk to somebody. If we're up here in the mall racing, come in there, stop and talk to somebody. So, they're pretty addicting. Usually we say that once you buy one, you'll end up with about 4 more. Most guys have a tower stand and they're running all 4 classes because, they're so simple and fun. The other track we got, like we said, it's not that up here is really technical. We just have this track up here is more paperclip in the mall. So you really kind of got to let up and then turn the car and get back onto the throttle. We're out at the barn. We're able to drive with just a little bit more momentum, so your lift points aren't as crucial as what they are. And like everything else, we learn every race out, and we're already making, improvements to the track. So be watching Thursday night on PCRC. We'll go live, do a little Facebook Live with Safe, and we'll do a walk around the track and some of the improvements we made for Sunday, and hope to see everybody Sunday. And if you're interested, stop out. Like during the intermission times, most of us have enough cars sitting around if somebody wants to take one out for a spin or whatever.
It's pretty laid back out there too, so it's not as chaotic, I feel.
Yeah, well,
Which
and
is nice.
one of the things too, like Gordy, you touched on it, but I was just impressed by the amount of camaraderie, guys helping other guys. This guy's he was in the last race and he needs to corner marshal, but he's in the next race, so somebody else corner marshals for him, and somebody's charging his battery up, and there's just that really good amount, it seemed like, of guys helping each other and then helping new people.
Absolutely.
And that I think is the key to getting people involved. So I know I personally, I don't have enough time to do it. I want to find time to do it, but I can't, and I would encourage anybody that wants to be involved. There is no better bang for your buck, in my opinion, in the world of racing. I think it's a great way to do it. It teaches you so many things that apply to big cars. If that's something you want to do, or you just want to have an awesome hobby, this is also it.
Yeah, this is great for the actual race car drivers too. A lot, not necessarily on all Sundays you're racing, but normally it's more of a day where you're done racing for the weekend. You can come out in the afternoons and get a car,
bring the family,
bring the family. It's definitely a good family atmosphere. We have tons of room for people to sit and watch. We have a full concession stand out there, fully stocked, and it's just a really good time. Just bring the family out, come watch some races, hang out, maybe buy a car or two if you want to. But yeah, it's just it's a really good opportunity. And Gordy, I know we got some races coming up here. Why don't you go ahead and tell everyone what's going on with the schedule here a little bit so they can come out and watch.
Yeah, so this week here, we're starting what we call a 1RC Sunday Summer Series here, where we're going to try to race once a month, through the summer on a Sunday. Starting off this May 4th will be our first one. The next one's June 1st. I don't have them all memorized from there, but go ahead and go out. They're posted on the PCRC Speedway page, and then we're going to have some special events in there too. We might add a couple in there also. We were talking the other night about doing like a powder puff race. Our wives, let us go out and play with toy cars with our friends. So it's kind of nice to go out there and let them, do a race. We want to do a celebrity race if we can get a couple celebrities out and about.
Steve Shetler.
Yeah, Steve Shetler, and get them out. Maybe Curtis Vanderwall, you know, and some of the guys around there, and then then we'll start our season off up here in November. Go back to the barn, in December, and back and forth, between the two. So keep watching the schedule. We got the dates confirmed here for the mall for next year, which will be our third season up here. So big thanks to Mike and Ari and their staff up here, for allowing us to come in here and race and kind of give us that little bit of public touch up here on a Saturday afternoon. But definitely excited to go out to the barn and to where we can be a little bit more laid back and run in the evenings and have some fun with our friends out there. So definitely keep watching the page. We'll put everything on there. No major rule changes for next year that we foresee. I think we have most of our rules pretty well down pat to where we're growing year after year. We just had our Carpet Nationals up here the first week in March, 73 entries, so we were up about 10-12% from the year before. We have like 150 unique names in our system, so if we can get everybody out there at the same day, we'll have a pretty big event. So come on out, and even if you don't have one, come on out and watch. It's fun to watch. It's fun to mingle in the pitch. And, this is just our way of paying back. When I was a kid, we used to race pan cars over here in the corner at the mall, and that kind of led to go-karts, and it led to modifieds and dirt late models, and finally full circle and back to racing cars on toy cars again. So like Curtis says, there's things that you can apply and you learn, to take it with you in many forms of racing. So
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's just really affordable. And again, if you're unsure, if you're wanting to find out more information, it is best to come out this Sunday afternoon. Pits open at 2:30. Racing starts at 4 o'clock. And we should be done around 7:30, somewhere in there, so it doesn't take too terribly long. 25-lap heat races, 75-lap main events. So, make sure you guys come out and check it out if you're interested, or get a hold of Gordy or Moose or one of us, and we'd be more than happy to, get some more people involved in it. It's a great little group here, and it's a lot of fun. And we hope to continue to kind of grow that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we want to do, is grow it. It's fun seeing kids come in. We had one kid, Griffin Teeter. He was racing with us. Now he's out racing go-karts and starting to make his stair step up. So it's always fun to see that. So it's fun to see other racers come in and race with us. RC car racing is starting to get big. We're seeing some of the outlaws do it in the spare time. I know Justin Haley from NASCAR does it in his spare time. So it's one of those things that it's fun. It keeps your time occupied here in the winter, and we just want to continue to grow the sport and somehow grow racing. That's what we all want to do, and how do we do that? We attract youth, and we get youth in at this level, and then it grows and grows and grows to bigger cars someday.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Gordy, we want to thank you for coming on tonight and talking to us about the 1RC racing. Sure. And thank you for talking about everything going on with that. Glad to see that there's another venue now and you guys can race year round, which is pretty awesome. Going from 8 races a year to double that this year. So, that's awesome. Congratulations to you guys. And we look forward to hearing more about what's going on with the PCRC team.
Sure, sounds good. Like I said, stop out Sunday afternoon, come out. We'll always have probably a NASCAR race on or some race on, and we'll have cars going, talk around. We won't run a quick program, so we'll get you out the door quick so you can get off to work on Monday morning. So, come on out and check us out.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again, Gordy. Folks, this has been your interview portion tonight of TNT, the Tuesday Night Tune-Up. We'll be back with some results and more racing info here in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Julie's Homestyle Cafe at 216 South Market in Oskaloosa is a small place with a great big taste of home cooking. Established in 2009, Julie's Homestyle Cafe serves breakfast, lunch. You can have a slice of pie, dessert, and soft drinks. Julie's Homestyle Cafe is a veteran-owned cafe serving traditional breakfast and homemade lunch meals just like Mom used to make. Find more information at julieshomestylecafe.com or follow their page on Facebook. At Copeland Auto Body, we strive to be the area's consistent provider of advanced collision repair. We want all of our customers to have a stress-free experience when they bring their car to Copeland Auto Body. Give them a call at 641-653-2140. Find them online at CopelandAutoBody.com. Copeland Auto Body, located in Hedrick, Copeland Collision Center in Oskaloosa, and Copeland Towing and Recovery in Sigourney. For auto body and towing for Hedrick, Oskaloosa, and Sigourney, see Copeland Auto Body. Got a problem under the hood? At Sinclair Napa, we're here to help. No matter if you're tuning up the family car, gearing up your heavy-duty truck, or maintaining your boat, we have the know-how you need to keep your ride running strong. Whether it's top-notch parts, expert advice, or unbeatable customer service, Sinclair Napa is your one-stop shop for all your automotive needs. Because at Sinclair Napa, we don't just sell parts, we're here to help you get the job done. Stop by today in Sigourney, Montezuma, Williamsburg, Centerville, or Ottumwa, or visit us at sinclairnapa.com. Stop by James Family Greenhouse and Produce in Sigourney. They have a variety of hanging baskets, annuals, shrubs, perennials, trees, mulch, and vegetable plants. Plus, you can spruce up your landscape with yard decor or decorate the inside of your home with home decor. James Family Greenhouse is also a great place to stop in for some gift ideas. You got to stop in and see it all for yourself. James Family Greenhouse at 701 East Jackson in Sigourney. And be sure to follow their page on Facebook. Hey, we are doing Tuesday Night Tune-Up. We are live at the Oskaloosa Pizza Ranch. Of course, it's Kids Night every Tuesday night. Get in here and take advantage of that. Kids 10 and under eat free. Well, we just had Gordy from the PCRC Speedway. I think I got that right. Hanging out with us. He was hanging out with us for a little while. Make sure you check out their Facebook page. They are tagged in our Facebook post for the PCRC Speedway. All right, we are down to Safe and Curtis. And guys, what do we got for this last segment?
And then there were two.
Yes.
It's Battle Royale.
It is Battle Royale. Oh, boy. Well, Curtis, you know, it has been the start of the year here for racing. It's exciting. Tomorrow night is the season opener at the Southern Iowa Speedway.
Weather permitting.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Mother Nature does like to usually get her share in early, it seems.
She's literally undefeated in history.
Undefeated. Absolutely undefeated. So, you know, I think the first thing is to talk about is this year there has been a lot of rule changes from our good friends over at IMCA, or if you're from other states that like to call it IMCA. Or whatever you shall call it. And I think the biggest thing, and I feel like this has been a talking point for the last year or so for us, and it's going to continue on through this year, is the world of stock car racing. With more rule changes than any other class going on right now is the IMCA stock cars. And what do you know, this year they have a new body rule. And if I might be honest, some of these cars look absolutely horrible in my opinion. I'm just going to throw that out there real quick, and I do not care what happens.
That you may be being too nice.
I think I might be, honestly. What is going on in the world of stock car racing where we have got to the point where we have gone from a class that was a little bit more than a hobby stock to a class where we have exceeded expectations of a modified?
Yeah, I know, and it's hard for me because it seems like every time something like this happens, no matter the sanctioning body, it just costs people more money, and I don't understand what was wrong with what we had, you know.
I mean, if we look at if you took a photo every year of a stock car, of an IMCA stock car, we're just going to say IMCA for reasons being that's what's popular around here.
Sure.
And you look at the progression of where they started to where they are now, it is absolutely ridiculous. And it's not just the bodies. It's not just the tires or the motor or the transmission or options like that. We're getting down to frames. We're getting down to suspension. We're getting down to different travels, dimensions. And now we have this whole thing where it's basically a modified with with fenders.
Yeah, I've heard that from other people. I don't know that I would quite go that far, but I understand where the sentiment is. I still think that it's a relatively, I don't want to say simple. I think that there's nothing simple about it. They're very complex machines, but we don't have like the moving bird cages and stuff like that, like a modified has. That just it doesn't just, but it ups. It adds to the performance, but it also adds to the maintenance, and it adds to the amount of work that needs to happen. And I think that that's kind of what's led between that and the crate engine mandate or whatever in the IMCA modified situation, which actually got let up on this year, where they allow a spec engine now. But I think that that's what has caused a lot of modified guys to go stock car racing in the last 5-6 years now.
I would definitely say 5 years. Yeah, I mean,
we've seen that influx happen.
It has, and it's been so weird. Do you think that the idea of the spec engine coming back to modified is going to help that class, or do you think it's just kind of like they're trying to throw something at the wall and see if it sticks with that?
I think some of each, really. I don't know that I necessarily agree exactly with the rule package that they put on place for that spec engine, but I think it's a step in the right direction, right? Now we're not making one engine package have a huge aerodynamic advantage over the other. And I think that it gives the guys that have the ability or the knowledge or the relationship with an engine builder or what have you, it just says, hey, if you guys do this, you're going to be on an even aerodynamic playing field with these other guys that don't do this. Now, you can make the argument the aluminum heads versus the iron heads, still gives the edge to the crate engine, but I'd like to think that as the guys with the spec engine in the modified class continue to develop that package, I think that it's going to get better.
Well, I mean, you've already seen Logan Anderson, new to the class, running one of those spec motors, has already had success with it over crate guys. Now, granted, we were at a smaller tracks when this happened, but I think we could see that happen, though, at one of these larger tracks, potentially.
I think you're spot on it, and I think that really goes to a couple things. Number one, I think it shows that there's potential in that engine package, right? I think, though, that really just also leads to, is a really good testament of Logan's ability, the people that he's got associated with this program from the chassis and engine group, and just the level of operation that he has, that he's able to go from one class to the other and really not miss a beat at all. It's impressive to see. And I think it gives a lot of guys maybe in that sport mod class the idea to go, oh, okay, well, I ran with that guy in sport mods, so maybe I could do, modifieds.
Right, absolutely. And then, speaking of winning already this year, I think this is pretty awesome, but your son, Cole, who is new in the sport mod division. I mean, he did race some last year, but
he had. I think he's got about. I think that was his 17th or 18th race in the car last Friday night.
Got his first feature win.
Yeah, it was. It was cool to see.
And at a tough track too, with a lot of tough track, Columbus Junction, which is arguably one of the hardest tracks to go to and win a race at.
Yeah, you're not wrong. They do the full IMCA deal, so he had a little misstep week one, so that put him back in points. So he benefited from a good starting position. But then he had about, one of the top 2 or 3 guys, I'll say, in the state right behind him, and Dylan Van Wyck, and the Van Wyck's program is as good as anybody's. And Dylan gave him everything that he could handle, and Cole rose to the occasion. So he just did a really good job. I was very, very proud of him as a car owner, but more importantly as a dad. He did a really good job, and that's I think a testament to the things that he's learned working in the shop and being around other competitors, but also iRacing. He does a lot of iRacing, and I think that that's also helped him a lot. So
I think iRacing is very underrated as far as people say, it's just a video game. Well, you look at William Byron and some of these other guys.
Exactly.
Quickly going to throw that out there for the doubters on that one.
I don't think it's for everybody.
No, it's not.
But I think that there's definitely benefits from it, and I think that Cole's a good example of it. So yeah, it was really cool. I know his mom and I and his brother were super pumped, and grandmas and grandpas, and he's on cloud nine, and we just now we're in the middle of preparing to go back and try and run good again this week if weather allows. So
that's awesome. Well, congratulations to Cole on that. So we do have some other exciting things. Obviously, racing is taken over here in Southeast Iowa, and last week was the official season opener at Knoxville Raceway.
Yep.
Obviously, you can't count the Outlaw race because they only ran 410s. So that was, it was cool to see the Outlaws back here that early on in the season. It was supposed to be 2 nights. They only got one in, so
yeah,
that's a tough deal. But for the season opener at Knoxville, we did see some of the high limit guys come down for that. They were off and then traveling still back from Jackson Motorplex up in Minnesota, so we did get a few more drivers down this way. So in the 410s, a not regular driver, but one of the high limit drivers, we had Rico Abreu picking up the win in the 24 car for the 410 feature. And none other than Aaron Reitzel picks up the 360 win. Aaron picks up the feature win there. Very tough at Knoxville.
And
he's made that his home.
He's off to a great start.
He is.
Overall this year. Obviously had the issue with the rock coming
at
through
Vegas,
the visor and breaking his nose at Las Vegas. And man, I think he won the high limit race a week later.
He did,
out there. So that number one, that speaks to his ability, but it also speaks to his toughness.
He's showing them guys from Clute, Texas are tough.
I think so. And especially being based pretty local here, it's cool to see that.
Absolutely. And then in the pro sprints, this guy has won more pro sprint features than I think anyone else by quite a landslide. The number 99 of Matthew Stelzer, a name that gets brought up quite often when you hear of pro sprints at the Knoxville Raceway.
Yeah, he's definitely won his fair share and then some.
Yeah.
And like you got to tip your cap, because being fast and being dominant is one thing, but being able to maintain that week after week, year after year,
it's hard.
It's impressive. It's just impressive because you've always got that target on your back and people are aiming for you.
It is. And then if you look at actual hometowns where these guys are from, Rico Abreu is native to California. Aaron Reitzel from Clute, Texas. And Matthew Stelzer is from the Omaha, Nebraska area. So even though they're in different classes, a very diverse set of drivers winning here in Knoxville, which really shows how badly people want to come race at that track.
Yeah.
It's called the Sprint Car Capital for a reason, and they definitely do that week after week. If you look at the drivers there consistently, you won't find a huge amount from Iowa. It is mainly the Dakotas, Nebraskas, Missouri.
You've got no shortage of guys willing to travel to race there, right?
Exactly.
Because that's how much that place means just to wing sprint cars.
It does.
And it's just it shows you that guys are willing to devote that amount of time and that amount of funds to what it takes to get there and be there every Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And as fans, we're the lucky ones that get to watch it.
Yeah. Agreed there. So now we're going to go on to some more sprint car stuff here. The World of Outlaws sprint cars were at Tri-State Speedway over the weekend, and picking up his first win in quite a while.
Since the middle of last year, right?
Yeah. Lil Hod, Sheldon Hodenshield picks up the win. Second place was Buddy Kofoid. Then you had Sunshine Tyler Courtney, Emerson Axum, and David Gravel round out your top five there.
And David Gravel, isn't that like 1,000 top 5 finishes in a row
Yes.
or something like that. Or
Yeah.
I know I'm kidding, but
No, it's
it's pretty impressive. He missed one maybe at Knoxville or the week after that, and then like just jumped right back on the top 5 deal. He is just that team's firing on all cylinders.
If you look at the whole moving of David Gravel as a driver from where he started, goes to Knoxville, his second season with that team. Well, not with this team, but a few previous teams now. Looks like he's going to win a Knoxville National. Blows the motor up, second to last lap.
Yep.
And then comes back with a new team, gets with the team over at Jason Johnson Racing, wins a national with Jeff Gordon there.
Yeah,
running that Exalta car.
That was the Exalta year, yeah.
Shows great speed, leaves JJR, goes to Todd Queering with that number 2 team, has won World Outlaw Championship, on pace to probably do it again this year unless Logan Schuchart or Carson Macedo have something to say about it, and continues to show dominance week after week, night after night on arguably, well, that's kind of changed too a little bit, but one of the 2 premium sprint car.
Anytime
traveling
you're at the
classes.
top of
It's
one of the
crazy.
premier series, it's hard to not just look at that and be in awe. And that's not to say that to take anything away from anybody else.
No.
But you've got accomplished racers like Donnie Schatz running the World of Outlaws, right? And his challenges with the Ford engine and
That they now don't run.
Yeah, so then they switch back to the Chevy, and everybody kind of thought, oh, maybe that'll be the thing, and then maybe they switched from the Fox Shocks back to a factory cane deal, and maybe that was going to help, and it just goes to show you that it's
having a lot of issues.
they are, and I think it just goes to show that it's all those little components and pieces, right? It just it takes all those things together.
Not only do you have that now, though, look at the caliber of drivers that we have. Now, not saying that there wasn't that before, but these guys are finding ways to beat Donnie, and not just once or twice like it used to be. It's consistent. It's to the point where sometimes he can't even make it into the A main.
Yeah, I think he had
Because
to take a provisional at Knoxville, didn't he?
He did have to take one, which is you don't hear that a lot,
Yeah.
but it's been like that. But you see these young guys coming up into it that are hungry. They're willing to put in the hours. They're willing to learn. They're willing to work on their own cars. And it is creating a new world of sprint car drivers, more like how the old school was in a sense. But that also comes with the changes in technology, and willing to adapt and go and work on a machine to get your hand-eye coordination better, as far as it's like a wall with dots, and they stand there and they have so long. I mean, it is getting to the point where they are putting so much more hours in to go win on a weekend than it used to be.
And like you say, it's not just working on the car anymore. It's they're working on themselves, and they're a lot of cases they're young, they're hungry, they're gassers. They've gotten with established teams. Those teams in a lot of cases have grown with them, and at this point, I think that it's pretty amazing that we have 2 wing sprint car series that are nationwide, that are both full of superstars.
And the thing is, not only that, when they get together and race, it's back and forth.
Absolutely.
Is an outlaw guy going to win, or is a high limit guy going to win? And you never really used to have that. Even when the All-Stars were a thing, the All-Star guys would come in and be like, oh, there's some All-Star guys here or something, but it was still, the outlaw guys smoked them all.
Yeah.
Well, now you have these 2 series, and then you look at the people running those series. You have the World Racing Group, which has been so established forever, but then you have a 6-time World Outlaw champion, and then arguably one of the greatest guys to ever get into any single car ever. Could probably win in a 1RC car.
Oh, easily.
By 6 laps, which is Kyle Larson. So you have 2 elites here running a series, and then you have a group that
has been the industry standard
forever.
Decades.
And so it's so amazing to see that, because it literally is a slugfest between High Limits and World Outlaws when they're together at either a sanctioned event or a non-sanctioned event on who's going to show they're the big dog tonight in that series. Who is going to bring home the bragging rights for High Limits, or someone going to show that old school World Outlaws is still the best series.
I know.
And it's getting, and you can feel that tension now. I think when
there's
there's
a little bit of back and forth between, maybe not publicly, but I think that they both feel the same way about.
No, you go into the pits and you see outlaw drivers with outlaw drivers now. You see high limit guys with high limit, and there's a divide, and that's it.
Yeah.
They don't really intermingle anymore. I mean, it's like a hard. You're a high limit or you're a world outlaw, and there's no more this vague in between like there was last year.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to see that. But it's amazing now for us fans because there's just this great tension, and it just adds to the excitement of sprint car racing, which is like how the World Outlaw late models and the Lucas Oil guys have been for years.
Yep.
Now on the sprint car side,
we
fans
have
get to
too.
see that.
Yeah.
It was never like that before. This is the best thing that could have happened to sprint car racing, hands down, is this great continental divide.
I think you're right. I think it's a really it's 2 different schools of thought, right? There's the decades old model that has had to update because of these new guys coming in, Kyle Larson, Brad Sweet with the high limit, and they've kind of upset the apple cart a little bit, and they've got some big names running with them. And I think the cool thing to me is, just like you mentioned on the late model side, it doesn't matter at all. Each standalone event is an event in itself.
Yes.
Then you get these combination events, the crown jewels, if you will, that you're talking about, where they compete together, and it's like the top's ready to blow off the kettle at that point. It's there's so much pressure and anticipation, and it just really makes everything a super event.
Yeah, which is great. And again, that's needed to happen for years, and it's so nice to see that on the side for sprint car drivers. So shifting gears, we're going to talk about some late model racing now.
Had some good races over the weekend.
There was one of my favorite tracks to watch the World Outlaw late models that happened, which is the Talladega short track. It is always
right across the street from the big track,
which I think is better than the big track in my own personal opinion, but that doesn't mean anything really. But so some great racing, and surprise, Bobby Pierce picks up another win with the World Outlaw late models. This is going to get kind of tired here, I have a feeling.
Yeah, he's probably
kind of like David Gravel.
Yeah, they're on a roll. They've got everything clicking. He's obviously doing his thing in the seat. His dad Bob Pierce is doing everything, with the wrenches, and they're really, really tough right now.
And if a lot of you don't know this, Bob Pierce quit making race cars. They are not running.
Right, they don't make late models anymore.
Right.
Or do they still do modifieds? I'm not sure.
I think he does a couple, but it's very. Yeah. I think you have to know him or have one, and you decide you want a new one. But so basically, they are running a Longhorn now. Surprise!
Longhorn has been dominant.
So now we have the Longhorn World Outlaw Late Model Series and the Longhorn Lucas Oil Late Model Series.
Yeah,
but that's the thing; they're a good chassis. Can't compete against it.
Yep.
It's not their fault. So yeah, Bobby Pierce wins. Zach Mitchell second. Jimmy Owens, great to see his name back up in the top 5.
Very, very good to see him run top 3 again.
It is. And then Jaden Frame and Mike Marlar, another name that we haven't really heard a lot of talk about lately.
Yep. He made a chassis change earlier this year, and they've been running good since they've been out. How's the points look in the World of Outlaw late model deal?
Again, Surprise, surprise. Bobby Pierce leading the points. Then you have Nick Hoffman.
Yep.
You have a Iowa native, Ryan Gustin, the Reaper, in third in points. And then you have the Rookie of the Year contender, Drake Troutman in fourth, and Max Blair in the 111 fifth in points. And their next race they're at is another one of my favorites, which is Mississippi Thunder Speedway over in Wisconsin. That is such a fun track
Very
to
racy
go
place.
to. It is very racy. So they'll have some good shows. They're there for 2 nights. So, and I forgot the World Outlaw Sprint Cars will be in Eldora for 2 nights
Yes.
next week
Yes.
as well,
Yep.
Second and third.
And
So
I
that's
think
later
High
this
Limit
week.
runs tomorrow night.
Yeah, and at Texarkana 67 Speedway, so some good racing there. Then we will jump ship to the Lucas Oil Late Model Series.
Yep. They had
were
a
at
3-race swing this weekend.
Pennsylvania area.
Yep, Pennsylvania and Hagerstown, Maryland, and they finished up at Port Royal Sunday.
Yes, and what another surprise here. A name that you're going to hear a lot of, I have a feeling, Ricky Thornton Jr., RTJ, picking up the big W. Superman was in second. And then you had Devin Moran, Garrett Albertson, and Greg Soderly.
Yeah,
Greg Soderly, it's good to hear that name again in the top 5 as well. He
Yeah.
kind of had some struggles there. And
Yeah, he's kind of scaled back, I think, and runs more local to that Pennsylvania area. But as you can see, he's a threat anytime he does show up on the national
And
stage.
that's a really good top 5.
It's
and then you look
very
at the
strong.
points, and it's almost that you have RTJ, Devin Moran, Davenport, Albertson, and the big unit, Brandon Overton. So.
Yep, and the big thing to remember with the Lucas Oil is they have that year-end playoff deal.
Yes.
So the top 4 is really what they concentrate on, not necessarily who's behind by how many points, because that all gets reset
It
for those
does,
final
which
few
is-
races.
I like that. I do like that better than your traditional kind of points.
See,
I
that's
think it makes it
interesting
a little
because I
more-
think it's completely fake.
Really?
I think it's horrible.
No.
I think
You're
it should.
kidding.
I think it should be your entire body of work. I've been against it since NASCAR did
Oh.
it. I think that it's trying to make something that I think it's just trying to create something that doesn't exist. So if a guy's won 80% of the races, he should probably be the champion.
Okay,
you know?
well, I see that to a point. I don't know. I think it's nice because then if you kind of have that underdog who has been putting
Sure.
in the work, getting the top 5s, but hasn't, maybe they've had something happen, but they've kept their points up, it gives a good chance for them to win the title, though, too.
Well, right.
I
or
see
they get
both
a-
sides of the
Yeah,
wagon.
and somebody gets on a roll at a
Yeah.
certain time, and that happened a couple years ago. Ricky Thornton dominated the regular season, and
did.
then Hudson O'Neal came along and put together a good 4 or 5 race stretch there and won the championship. Now, again, I don't necessarily like that, but it doesn't matter what I like because that's what they do.
I think it adds
So,
some nice excitement to it, though.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it
we-
does.
yeah.
You can't argue with that.
No. So let's talk about some racing we have coming up here this week. We have the Southern Iowa Speedway again. Hopeful. We
Weather pending.
are really hoping we get to race tomorrow night here
Yep.
at the Monster Half Mile. We have Columbus Junction running this week, Friday night.
Yep. Marshalltown as well Friday night.
Yes,
is that right?
Marshalltown as well, and then Saturday 34 Raceway.
And
Down
is
Burlington.
it Lee County?
Lee County races Saturday
Yep.
night as well, and then Sunday, you guys want to stop on out to SG's Barn for the PCRC racing. Make sure to come on out. We'll have concessions, some good times. Come look at the cars, watch some good RC car racing.
Yeah.
We'll have one of the NASCAR races on, or some form of racing will be on out there. So
Yep, and Bloomfield was going to run Sunday
Bloomfield
night,
was going to run Sunday night.
but-
I think they.
but they had to cancel that
Yes.
event. They had some issues with their water
Yep.
truck and stuff, so
We'll see what
so-
happens there.
Yeah, so no running there, but I think Vinton starts Sunday night, if I'm not mistaken. This may be their season opener. It may be next week. I need to double check that.
Yeah, I can't remember. They decided to wait a week because of weather or not either.
Yeah, so
Mother Nature might win. We will find out
yeah.
here very shortly.
we'll know soon.
So anyway, real quick, Neil, what do you got for us, buddy? Making his little segue in. Oh, let's see what we got tonight.
What has he brought?
He has brought us my favorite event here. Cactus for a Cause, folks. Make sure you come in here. You can come in here from 9 to 11 and enjoy free coffee and cactus bread here at the Oskaloosa Pizza Ranch. And just bring a free will donation. Again, all the money raised goes to a local nonprofit organization here in the Mahaska County community. So a great event here at Pizza Ranch, and just another way that they are giving back to your local Oskaloosa community.
Yeah, pretty cool deal.
It is. Neil, why don't you come back in with that fabulous hand and take that away?
Our hand model
and
is
then don't
Neil.
Forget, right behind Curtis's head.
Yes.
Thursday night wing night, folks. Make sure you come up and get some wings here Thursday night at your local Oskaloosa Pizza Ranch. Have you been here for wing night yet?
I haven't made it for wing
You
night.
look like a mango habanero guy.
I may have enjoyed a few of those in the past. Absolutely. So
I can see that. So, race.
Are you a Buffalo guy?
I am more of a mango habanero.
Okay.
Like the sweet and the heat mix.
That's a good mix, buddy.
It is. So, folks, this is going to conclude TNT, the Tuesday night tune-up. We want to thank you all for tuning in live here on Steve Shetler Media. I'm your host, Safe Grafke. That's Curtis Vanderwall, and we'll see you all next Tuesday night.
Hey, and before we officially get out of here, let's thank all of our sponsors. Of course, our host venue, Oskaloosa Pizza Ranch, Sigourney Motors, Nutrien Ag Solutions in Keswick, Iowa, Sigourney Body Shop, Julie's Homestyle Cafe, Copeland Auto Body, Sinclair Napa, and James Family Greenhouse. That'll do it for this week. We'll see you next week on TNT.